I just got back from just a really informal meeting set up by Rob. Rob is my upcoming thesis advisor for the program I'm in. As you know, I want to write my thesis on Harry Potter and a discussion of Aristotle. A lot of people in the program have told me, don't do that. In fact, it took me quite a while to find Rob, and Rob is cool with it because one of Rob's interests is philosophy and literature. Right? So, he set up a meeting with, happened to be, 2 people from the university's English department, one of whom is the big Harry Potter scholar on the campus. And I started to flip out because I have, again, listened academically to everybody telling me that this is a stupid plan. Outside the academic circles, I've had people who are like, that sounds really cool. But in the academic circles, I've heard, but Rob's actually been super positive. He pointed out he doesn't know the series super well, so finding somebody who does know the series a lot better for my committee would be a good plan. So he set up this meeting at our campus bar. She brought one of her co-workers along who they're sort of looking at an exchange of people working on committees, because he's got somebody that he thinks would be an interesting match with Rob on the committee. And I was speaking with her. But it started out because the meeting was set up with me, where they just sat down and they said, tell me about it. And I was like, oh my god. Because that's the worst part, is trying to explain what you want to do, especially when you haven't started coherently writing. And there were a few bumps at first, because she was looking at the Neo-Machian ethics as it leads into the politics, which suddenly I was just like, that's really cool, but no, not necessarily what I'm looking at. But as I was able to explain it, she was just sitting there, and we started having this conversation to the point where we actually left the other 2 gentlemen to have the conversation about his student working with Rob. So the 2 of us were talking and worked through something that I had been dealing with in my head, but she helped make far more coherent, which is this idea that I shouldn't be looking at writing this thesis as 3 or 4 final papers, because that's not going to be easily coherent. So one of the big things she actually helped me work out was, I am going to have to drop something, and one of the drop focuses is going to be sort of the exemplar characters. And I think the reason why I need to do that is I really need to focus on the problematic characters and how they're rooting themselves into these issues, because I think that's going to help with the coherence of the argument a lot more. And then the other thing she helped me figure out is we started looking at chapter sets, and she pointed out that a lot of times people will roll their introduction and their conclusion into the first and last chapter. But that's not going to work with me here, because 4 houses is going to make a lot more sense for 4 chapters. It just means my introduction and conclusion are going to have to be shorter, which I can do. I can do it. I can do that. And then she goes, okay, what's your first chapter? And I was like, okay. So I'm not going to get into details because it's not really coherent in my head right now. Probably shouldn't put it all on the internet fully anyways, because, you know, trying to write it academically. But I mean, the meeting was super helpful, and every now and then throughout the meeting she was just like, oh, I think this is a fantastic idea, or oh, I think this sounds really cool. And I was just sitting there like, this is the confidence boost academically that I've needed like I have hit the end of this semester and I feel stupid and unintelligent and like I don't have any good ideas. And then I sat down today, had some iced tea, she had some tonic water, the gentleman had some beer, and I finally felt like I could academically bring my interests together. And she thinks it's a cool idea. She wants to work with me. Oh, I'm excited. Okay. Whew, 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 whew. Bring it down. Bring it down. Talk to you tomorrow.